Good evening, everyone. Before we start the agenda, I'll ask Eric Morgan now to read out the statement about webcasting.
Okay. Before proceeding today, I have to remind everyone that this committee meeting will be recorded and subsequently broadcast on the authority's website. The public seating areas will be in view of the camera, and by entering the chamber and using the public seating area, members of the public are consenting to being filmed. Please could committee members ensure that their mobile phones are switched off as they interfere with the recording. Please use your microphones at all times when you are speaking. However, during the meeting, if any committee member has any questions or comments, please indicate to the chair by a raise of hands. Please do not activate your microphone until you've been called by the chair to speak, and ensure that you turn off your microphone when you have finished. Also, could you please ensure that your microphone is used when a recommendation is moved and seconded?
Thank you. Go to the agenda. Item 1, any apologies for absence? No? No apologies? Item 2, any declarations of interest, and bearing in mind as printed A and B. Councillor Barrett.
Thank you, Chair. I got prejudice on item P/15, so 253. It's a personal prejudice of interest. The interest is I know the applicant very well.
Okay, thank you. Any other declaration of interest? No? We go to item 3, that's under the heading open session, the fact-finding visits. It's the minutes of the meeting held on Tuesday, the 13th of October, of the planning and regulatory fact-finding visit. And you've got the minutes there on pages 1 and 2. You all happy with it? The minutes are correct? Can somebody move that we accept the minute?
I move.
It's been moved by Councillor Brian Mansbridge.
I'll second. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Can we vote now?
Problem with the system, I think if we go to an ordinary show of hands.
Second. That's carried. Thank you. We then go to item 4. That's the minutes of the meeting held on Thursday, the 29th of October, of the planning and regulatory fact-finding visit. And you'll find those on pages 3 to 6. Could a member, before I could see your face and Councillor Slater, I know that Councillor Sean Slater should be put under those who apologised. Okay, please, will that be added to the apology list? Right, could I have a member who's present, who's happy with a minute? Councillor Brian Mans.
I propose.
Councillor Mansbridge is moved. Seconder? Just one moment. And that is carried. We now come to planning applications, and that's the number 5, that's to consider report of the corporate director pages 7 to 16. Hugh Roberts is going to take us through this one.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, this is an application of Blanche House, Blanche Street, Dowlas, and it's for the erection of a dwelling. The determination of this application was deferred from the committee meeting in September to undertake a fact-finding site visit. This visit took place on the 13th of October. As highlighted in the report, the main issue raised during the site visit centred on the impact of the proposed development on highway and pedestrian safety. There was concern that the proposal would exacerbate existing problems in an already congested Blanche Street and Cross Blanche Street. However, the group leader, Engineering and Highways, raised no objection to the proposal, as he considered a single dwelling would not increase traffic movements in the surrounding streets to a level that would be harmful to either highway or pedestrian safety. It is considered the fact-finding visit did not highlight any new issues to alter the original recommendation, which was to approve the application subject to the conditions highlighted on page 14, 15 and 16 of this report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Hugh. Any questions from any members? No? Any comments from any members? No? If not, can I ask for a member to move the recommendations as has been explained on 14, 15 and 16?
Can I move recommendation, Chair?
It's been moved by Councillor Bill Smith. Is there a... Councillor Alan Jones has seconded. Can you vote now? And that's been carried. We now go to application item 6P15/0228, land between 3A and 4 Winifred Street, Dowlas. And that's a consider report of the Corporate Director, Place and Transformation. That's pages 17 to 26. And Hugh Roberts, who's going to take us through this one.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, this application is for the erection of a 3-storey property containing 1 2-bedroom flat and 2 1-bedroom flats with associated retaining works and parking area. The determination of this application was deferred from the committee meeting in October to undertake a fact-finding site visit. This took place on the 29th of October. As highlighted in the report, the main issue raised during the site visit centred on the off-street car parking area for the proposed development. However, the group leader, Engineering and Highways, raised no objections to the proposal, as he considered that the 3 off-street car parking spaces would be perfectly adequate to cater for the needs of the occupiers of the flats. He also noted that there were no parking restrictions within Winifred Street, and therefore, if required, any additional car parking needs could be accommodated on this and surrounding roads. It is considered that the fact-finding visit did not highlight any new issues to alter the original recommendation, which was to approve the application subject to the conditions highlighted on pages 24 and 25 of this report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Hugh. Any questions from any members? No questions? Any comments from any members? Yes, Councillor Simon Williams.
Thank you, Chair. Just want to say it was good to have the opportunity of a site meeting here. Members were able to ask questions and officers answered them. Residents could then see firsthand the planning process in action. So thank you, Chair, and thank you, members, once again.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? If not, I think we are ready to vote. Could I have a member to move the recommendation, please? Page 20. Councillor Bill Smith's moved. Is there a seconder, please? Councillor Mansbridge has seconded. Right, we are now ready to vote. And that is carried. We now go to item Item 7, that's P/15/0253, that's Plot C, Ben Coibcai Farm, Ugarig. And there's consider report of the Corporate Director, Place and Transformation, and that's on pages 27 to 34. And Judith is going to take us through this report.
Thank you, Chair. This application relates to land between Mount Pleasant and Shirley Gardens in Hillgerrig. The site lies outside of the settlement boundary and within a green wedge as designated by the local development plan. Full planning permission is sought for a detached dwelling with attached garage. Access would be gained via the existing access road, which currently serves 2 neighbouring plots upon which dwellings have been built. Policy BW4 of the LDP states that outside the settlement boundary, proposals will be regarded as countryside development and will not be permitted unless appropriately justified. Policy BW5 states that development will only be permitted where it maintains, enhances, or does not cause harm to the landscape character of the countryside. Whilst the proposed dwelling would not constitute a justified countryside development when considered against the criteria set out in Policy BW4, it is acknowledged that there is an extant outline planning permission for a dwelling and garage on this site. The committee will recall that the decision to permit that application was made contrary to officer recommendation in 2013. As such, whilst the proposed development would run contrary to policy, the principle of residential development at the site has been established and the development is considered to be acceptable in all other respects, as highlighted in the planning considerations section of the report. The recommendation is that the application be approved subject to conditions.
Thank you. Any questions from members? Councillor Bill Smith.
Oh, it's a good idea, man. It's outside the LSP. So what happens if somebody else when a planning application for that further down the line outside the area? We deal with it as we would, but no, it's just show the president that we've got to put planning outside the local plan.
Yeah, you're right to say that obviously all applications are considered on their own merits. However, this is what's happened in the case of this. 2 other dwellings have already been built there, and then when committee considered the last outline application, they took that into account and permitted that outline application. So obviously the principle of residential development has now been permitted. So that's why the recommendation is as it is.
Yes, Councillor Chaplin.
Because it was outside the settlement boundary, the application was referred to full council, who made the decision to approve the outline planning permission.
Councillor Barnesbridge.
Is this the last plot that could be built on this?
Yes.
The last application or planning for a house that could be built on this piece of land?
I mean, it doesn't stop anybody submitting a further application, which would be considered separately then.
I mean to say that, is there room for more building to take place on that?
Any other questions from members? No? Any comments, members? I think Councillor Chaplin, you've made your comment just now.
So I did, and I would be happy to, as the ward member, to recommend acceptance.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Chaplin. Been seconded by Councillor Alan Jones. You're now ready to. That is carried. Thank you for that. Item. Oh, yeah. We now go on to the information reports, and they are for information. Item 8 is the appeal decision there. For those who who have read it, and we've also enclosed the copy of the decision from the planning inspectorate, but the organisation have moved from there as well now, as you probably all know, where it was situated close by to the new Marks and Spencer store. Item 9 is the delegated decision report list from the 1st of October to the 31st of October. It's there for all your information. Item 10, any other business as deemed urgent by the chair. I have none. And can I thank you all for the attendance and declare the meeting closed.